The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
Well, for the second time in 3 weeks, we will not have a Victory Monday, and we won't be hearing Cowboys Stampede here.
We will
Mick
not.
Shots.
That is correct. I'm going to miss it.
Everson Walls, Mickey Spagnola. We're
What's up,
awaiting the
Spags?
arrival of Bill Jones here in our SWBC podcast studio at the Star on this Monday afternoon.
Did someone hold a press conference and tell us that Bill is inactive?
Oh,
Is that what?
maybe.
Is that what's happening? Bill is inactive today?
He was one of the. He didn't make it to the 48-man roster.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
After the Cowboys' 19-9 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm sure, Everson, we all not only had that picked the winner right, but we had the score right too, right?
Man, I was so off. I mean, I was as off as you can be. Not only did my score so way off, my pick to click. I mean, Pollard didn't even really hardly touch the ball, seems like, you know?
Well, he had I think he had the most carries.
Did he really?
Well, let's see. Let me. I was.
When I look, I was just so lost in the boredom of the game itself.
See, here's why you lost track of him.
Mm-hmm.
I think his first carry was 31 yards.
Yep.
And then he had 6 carries for 19.
Crazy.
So that's 3 yards a shot. Zeke had 9 carries for 32 yards, and he was nursing a banged-up knee that he suffered in the first half. It was the same knee sprain that he's been dealing with, and they had to kind of, regulate his snaps, and he didn't get as many snaps as he
Now,
normally
is it his
would.
knee or his ankle or both?
Well, I was told knee.
Uh-huh.
I know he said in a press conference something about the twisted ankle, but when I talked to the medical folks after the game, it was basically irritating the knee that's been bothering him now for a good 3 weeks, I
Yes.
think.
Yeah, I was going to say a month.
So what were your overall impressions of what took place?
You know, I got to say, we had so much hype related to this game. We're looking at the numbers by both teams, especially even the potential of this quarterback matchup that was just going to create fireworks throughout the entire stadium. And to look at what happened, the lack of output, really, to me, by both teams, especially by both quarterbacks, it made for a very, I just say, uneventful. It was an uneventful affair. Can I call it that?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I was so bored, not just frustrated, like I said. I definitely frustrated, but definitely bored.
Yeah, and here was the weird thing, and this is what I wrote about in my column this morning. Had you told me before the game that the Cowboys would hold Kansas City to 19 points, Cowboys win.
Cowboys
right?
win.
If you had told me they held the Kansas City Chiefs to just 2 touchdowns, Cowboys win.
Cowboys win.
And if you had told me Patrick Mahomes was only going to complete 23 of 37 passes for 260 yards, get sacked 3 times, intercepted once, and finished with a 71.9 quarterback rating.
We are blowing them out. It's a runaway.
Right?
That's it. It would be a runaway.
And had you told me that the Cowboys would not score a touchdown for the first time in 27 games, and Dak would only throw for 216 yards and all they would score is 9 points, I'd have told you you lost your mind.
That's it. That's true.
But all that took place, and that's how the Cowboys ended up losing the game 19-9 and falling to 7-3, but still has the second best record in the tied for the second best record in the NFC.
And no matter what happens tonight, that's going to go out throughout into the next ball game.
And as a matter of fact, it's the second best record in the NFL.
Isn't that something?
Because everybody in the NFC, the AFC,
At
the
least
leaders
lost 3 games.
At least lost 3 games. Is Tennessee 8-3, Baltimore 7-3, Kansas City now 7-4, and all of a sudden they're in first place.
Nobody wants first place.
Right.
Because as soon as you get there, then you have a hiccup. And it's not just a hiccup. Sometimes it's just straight up barfing. You know what I'm saying?
So I thought the best summary of that game, better than my column, was what Andy Reid had to say after the game. I don't know if you saw this or not.
What did Andy say?
They asked him if this was a statement game for the Chiefs. And his response was, every week is crazy in this league, so I'm not sure there are any statements. There's not a lot of consistency going on right now amongst the NFL here. Every week is a big-time challenge. I'm talking about wins and losses haven't been consistent. There are ups and downs, and teams are favored, and they get beat. I mean, it's crazy.
Crazy. There you go. That's the best you
I thought I was trying to write and sum it up in my words, and I go, no, I'm just going to let them do it for me. But that's it, right?
Well, let's look at the top teams. Buffalo. I don't know what the heck's going on with them. To me, they are the only team that's more baffling than the Dallas Cowboys right now. They've got all this talent, and then all of a sudden you find these weaknesses that pop up out of nowhere, like whack-a-mole or something. So when you go from one week to the next, you're up here and everyone's on the bandwagon, and as soon as you lose, not just the Cowboys,
right?
Soon as you lose, whether you're Buffalo, whether you're Tampa, whether you're the Saints, everyone's like, now you are vilified for the rest of the season, of course, until the next week comes, and then we have a whole nother narrative.
So Buffalo, not only do they lose, Indianapolis beats them 41-15
at home.
The Packers get beat by Minnesota 34-31.
A team that couldn't do jack against us.
Right, and that game wasn't even close till the end when the Packers came back and tied it up. Baltimore's supposed to be great, right? 7-3. Well, they struggled to beat Chicago by a field goal.
Yeah.
16-13.
With backup Andy Dalton coming in.
Carolina, Cam's back. They're going to get righted, right? Yep. Washington beats them 27-21.
NFC East, baby.
The Chargers, who we had given up on them, right? Mm-hmm. They beat Pittsburgh 41-37. So, yeah, it just kind of continued, and, there was the Cowboys following suit with their loss. New Orleans can't win a game now, right? Philadelphia, 40-29. Hey, watch out for the NFC East.
Watch out for the NFC East, and especially those Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
That's something we can talk about another time. But
they're scoring.
They are scoring, they are winning, and they are winning with guts. I mean, that's the thing that I was hoping for yesterday. And I always talked about my admiration for the Ravens. Teams like Pittsburgh, to where it got so much going on all the time. Quarterbacks out, COVID, whatever, age, all kind of excuses. You try to get rid of the coach, send him down to college football. He's cussing out all the press. And here we are, every week, something silly happens. And it just doesn't make any sense to me how you can be so up and seem invincible. And I'm not just talking Cowboys, but all of these teams that are supposed to be. They talked about Josh Allen in week 4.
Oh, he was an MVP already, right?
Already.
Running away with it.
Yeah. And then Jets? The Jets come along? I mean, it's not like he was handicapped by anything. They have his team. I mean, we got a few injuries like everyone else. But you don't even score a touchdown at home against the Jets. I think it was a home game. And for them to be faulting like that and for the Cowboys to be faulting, I just sat up there yesterday and I just shook my head, and it still doesn't bring me solace that other teams are going through it.
Yeah.
That does not make me feel better. It's an excuse. But I got to wonder, what are we doing to where we are so inconsistent?
And every week in this league, you hit the reset button, right? So tell me your thoughts on why you think this Cowboy offense just faltered against Kansas City.
Offensive line. Just
Thank
the
you.
O-line. It's just it is what it is. That defensive line came out amazing. The usual suspects were there. Jones, we knew Jones was going to be a problem, right? We talked about this last week.
He's got to be the AFC Defensive Player of the Week.
Here we
right?
go again, putting somebody in the Pro Bowl, right? We can't help ourselves. We go on the road. We just make somebody famous.
3.5
That's
sacks.
what we do.
Somebody told me that he did one of the post-game shows on TV, and they said he had 3.5 sacks. He goes, no, I had 4. And they go, no, officially you had 3. He goes, well, somebody's going to have to answer to where my other half sack is.
And he got a fumble recovery, I think.
Forced a fumble. Well, look, here's his line. They're still trying to block him.
They're still
right?
trying to.
They can't find him. So he ends up with 5 tackles, 3.5 sacks for 20 yards. Not just at the line of scrimmage, right? 2 tackles for losses, 3 quarterback hits, 1 pass defense. He deflected it at the line, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery.
Wow.
Now,
Give me a break, dude.
who does better than
That's
that?
LT numbers right there.
Right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Micah Parsons, he might have been the NFC Defensive Player of the Week with his line.
Parsons would be number 2 in this regard.
Right.
Because he had a hell of a game.
They just
himself.
needed him to win.
Our defense was amazing.
Yes.
They really were, and I was impressed by them because when you have an offense that's so inadequate and you have these letdowns of the turnovers and interceptions in bad places, Dak's interception to CeeDee Lamb, it just lets you know when you do something that is ill-advised, it can cause dominoes to fall. There's no way that you're supposed to throw an interception in that part of the field when we have a chance to have points.
Or at least kick a field goal.
You got to have at least for points. You're going to get some points
Because think
out
about
of
it.
this.
Had you kicked a field goal there and you got 12, you're always within one score of tying the game up.
And we had it was a momentum changer before that to put us in position to where we are. So now you just can't throw an interception right there. And it's not just the guy made a great play. It was an okay play, but you threw it to him, not to the receiver. CD left plenty of room on the outside. Plenty of room on the outside for him to look. And he wasn't ahead of him. But if you could go back shoulder fade, you've got all kind of answers for that. He was feeling it. He was hearing, seeing ghosts or hearing ghosts or something. That's the way it was because they were, whether they're blitzing or not, Kansas City had constant pressure on him.
Sacked 5 times. I believe I saw where he was hit 8 times, and this tells you how much pressure he's under. They had 9 passes defensed. Mm-hmm. That means they're getting their hands on his ball.
That's right.
So he's trying to fit in. So
And we're dropping 4. We dropped it around
at least
4
4
passes.
I will give him 5 at one point, but yeah, at least 4. And look, here's the deal. It's very noble of them to rest on this next man up thing. But as I always say, the reason they're the next man up is they ain't
they're not
the man.
as good.
And at some point, you get diminishing returns, right? So, everybody was ready to put Terrence Steele in the Ring of Honor.
Yep.
Well, they better get him off of left tackle.
Man, that's crazy.
Right?
There was at one point.
The first one?
Well, yeah, I don't know what is going on.
I don't know if he heard the snap or they were on a silent count and he didn't have it right.
Oh, man.
He was still standing there.
He's still counting. Everybody else.
It was Clark, right?
Yeah.
He's sacking Dak and he's still in his stance.
Oh, man. When you got games like that and you see a unit having the problems, first of all, Tyron Smith should get paid whatever he asks for anytime he asks for it. I hate to see my boy Zach struggling.
He gave up one to Chris Jones.
Yeah. I mean, but you can still see that even when he didn't give one up, it was just he was part of the unit that was being overwhelmed and creating that claustrophobic look that Dak had back there.
Creating the ghost.
Yeah, there you go.
La'el Collins struggled, and while they didn't have a penalty at left guard, I don't know that McGovern
There are times when you better take a penalty.
Right.
The way that he was blocking.
I'm not sure if good on the better against the penalties, right? But I'm not sure he played better than Connor Williams there. He struggled.
No, none of them played well. Let's just be real. None of them played well. So we did not improve on the offensive line at all.
And I understand there was, the crowd can get noisy there, and you have trouble with the snap count, but still, you had to do a better, and Zach stood up after the game and said, if you had told me the defense was going to play this well, we were going to win. And we didn't hold up our end of the bargain, meaning the offense.
Of course.
And he put it on the offensive line.
Yeah, and he should. That's good that he did, because you can't put it off on anybody else. I mean, that was he spoke the obvious, but sometimes you have to go ahead and admit to that. I just really thought that as much as we are strong in so many areas, that game was still within our reach. And when you talk about Dak, I'll talk about Dak's failures. The pressure that Dak was getting, let's just be real. He's had pressure before. I mean, I heard him say it before this season started, the number one passer under pressure.
Yes.
That's what he's known for. But not yesterday. For some reason, it seemed to get to him more than any other team. It couldn't be the crowd. Cowboys offense has been under so many.
Yeah.
This is nothing new.
Exactly.
So the only thing that's new is the fact that we couldn't perform. And I was extremely surprised, like I said, not just that you made the mistakes, but in the crucial areas that they were made. You cannot let anyone but CeeDee Lamb have a chance at that ball go into the end zone. Now look at the domino effect. He's got to play defense now. Now he's got the concussion. And he's got to go. And
then they get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah.
So we're going to come up with some key points in this game. I've got about 4 points where the Cowboys had an opportunity to take advantage, and the fact that next man up at wide receiver didn't work out so well either. We'll return to Mick Shots in a moment in the SWBC podcast studio.
Drop the mortgage.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Brace yourself for an existential question. Has your butt been having enough fun lately? Have you been treating it well? Has it been going places? If not, then it's about time you start using SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best way to get your butt tickets to live events. Just ask the thousands of other butts who have rated it the #1 ticketing app. So what are you waiting for? Download the app now or visit SeatGeek.com to get tickets to sports, concerts, and live events and make your butt happy. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat.
How great would it be to travel to watch the Cowboys win on another team's turf? Pretty great. But honestly, just watching the game from anywhere but your house would be fun. Even a hotel bar with some guy named Phil from St. Louis who thinks Oakland still has a team. So whether you're traveling to the game or watching from your favorite vacation spot, book a place to stay on Hotels.com, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
At AT&T, everyone, new and existing customers, get our best deals on every smartphone. Why? Because you deserve it. For turning your living room into your office and your gym. For teaching Grandma how to video call and teaching her again.
It's the button on your left, Nana. Okay, your other left.
It's not complicated. Everyone deserves something new. So AT&T is giving everyone, new and existing customers, our best deals with every unlimited plan on every smartphone, even the latest ones.
AT&T may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Restrictions and exceptions may apply.
Back to Mick Shots.
Give the gift of the Cowboys this season with a Dallas Cowboys United membership presented by Globe Life. It's the ultimate fan experience for the ultimate Cowboys fan. Memberships start at just $20 and include an exclusive fan pack and VIP member experiences. 'Tis the season. Visit DallasCowboys.com/United to get yours today. that DallasCowboys.com/ Got it, baby.
We should have some applause on
Yes,
that
we
one,
should,
right?
man.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
Absolutely.
You are so welcome, sir.
As we continue on Mick Shots, Everson Walls, Mickey Spagnola here in the SWBC podcast studio after a dreary Sunday for the Dallas Cowboys, losing 19-9 to the Kansas City Chiefs, who moved to 7-4 in first place in the AFC West. Now, we were talking about next man up. We talked about the offensive line. Well, wide receiver. It seems like when it rains, it pours at a position. The Cowboys found out on Friday. We found out after our show.
Of course we did.
That Amari Cooper had tested positive for COVID, and now he's probably missing 10 days, which will include at least Thanksgiving. And since he's not vaccinated, it will be 10 days, and he's got to test negative twice before he can get back. So
we're talking about starting from Friday. Correct?
Yes.
Dang.
And that gets into the week of the New Orleans game.
Yeah, man, it sure does.
And you have to recover.
Yes.
And as we've seen, nobody has recovered earlier. It was close contact has, but guys that have had it, that tested positive, have not recovered. It's been 10 days to 2 weeks.
Yes.
It seems like. So you don't have him. You get that surprise on Friday. Okay, Cedric Wilson's going to start. But here's what happens. And I always say this. Okay, that's great. But now one injury away, and now what? Now you're down to your fifth wide receiver.
Meaning like CeeDee Lamb happens.
I mean, yeah. And then CeeDee Lamb suffers the concussion at the end of the first half. And now it's Cedric Wilson and Noah Brown, and then Malik Turner. And Michael Gallup is the guy that, well, if you're the Chiefs, who are you worried about? Michael Gallup, right? and he was, doing as much as he could do.
Yes, he was.
But then the drops started. Noah had one, Cedric had one or two. And it just compounded. You got to have your guys out there. And I know, everybody wants to, next guy up. Okay, fine. But that hurt also. So you had the combination of your offensive line struggling, meaning your quarterback was struggling, and now you've dipped into the depth at your wide receiver position.
Yes.
So, look, I went through this. The opportunities they had, even though they struggled offensively, right? What did they end up with? Like 260 total yards?
Right.
It was just something ridiculous. First play of the game.
Man.
They got a touchdown.
I was wondering if you were going there.
First play.
What is happening?
7-0.
Oh, my.
Michael Gallup smokes Javarius Ward, and Dak overthrows him.
Man. How do you overthrow Michael Gallup?
And badly overthrow
Yes.
him, right?
Yes.
Now, I don't know if the wind was playing. All I know on the kickoffs, when they were kicking off that direction, so it would have been, we were in the press box to our left, they were going in the end zone. When they were kicking off to the right, they were hanging up.
Right.
So I don't know, but that would have meant the wind was coming out of the east, I think. That didn't make sense.
What did Dak say about it?
He didn't.
I'm sure he was confronted.
He wasn't going to use an excuse.
I just want to know what he said.
Wind or no.
Yeah.
On the play?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed him. Yeah. I got to hit that.
Yeah.
I got to hit that. So then the third Cowboys possession, they're now down 9-0. First and 10 at the Kansas City 15. 15. They end up with a field goal.
Yeah.
Can't have that happen.
What happens when you kick field goals?
Right? Closer you are to losing. Then, at the end of the second quarter, they get the sack fumble from Parsons. They recover. They get the ball at the Kansas City 42.
Didn't I tell you he was going to do that? Didn't I tell you he was going to do that?
Yes. And they drive to a 1st and 10 at the Kansas City 28. Now, there's only 21 seconds, but Dak went for it all, and that was the interception that you were talking about. It just can't happen. We move along to the third quarter. Cowboys' first possession. They're still down now 16-3. 1st and 10 at the Kansas City 17, and it's a field goal.
Yeah.
So red zone problems cropping
back up again. Yes.
And then the beginning of the fourth quarter, and you're still sitting there going, okay, if they just score a touchdown, right? And they just kept teasing you.
Right.
So
Don't you hate
end
that?
of the third quarter, first possession, and it went into the fourth quarter, and they're down now 19-6, and you're going, okay, you score a touchdown, it's 19-13, okay, we're back in the
defense is
ballgame.
playing well.
Right.
Yeah.
They moved to 1st and 10 at the Kansas City 21, and this one I'm going to call BS on. First play, Biotish with a false start. Now, I didn't see him act like he was going to snap it. I saw him pop his head up, and then they threw the flag.
Can I say how ridiculous the coverage was on these penalties? It seems as if the production booth, Troy and the guys, they were so busy being distracted by these other things when you got key things happening on the field, and no one was set up to review it. And they came back to one play two plays later.
So 5 yards. Now you're first and the last thing you want to be against this team is 1st and 15, right? They tried to run the ball, get something. Zeke got 4. And then on 2nd and 11 at the 22, they tried Cedric Wilson on an end around in front of Dak, and he's going to flip him the ball. And
that was ugly.
They fumbled it.
That was ugly.
And afterwards, Cedric said he thought it was supposed to be a handoff, not like a flip.
Yeah, and he did.
So fortunately, yeah. No, that wasn't the play because they ended up -2 on that. The other one ended up being an incomplete pass.
I just know that after the play, Cedric was like, hey,
right.
Yeah, in here.
Yeah, that wasn't this play. This one was a short pass to Wilson. They tried a smoke screen. And remember, whoever was on the outside, was it Schultz? They missed the block.
That happened. That was when Gallup got dumped, correct?
No, that was another one. You're right. That was independent of this. But this one, same thing. They didn't get the block.
There was
out
one
on the
time
outside.
Zeke was out there. You could tell it was going to be a bubble screen. They drew attention to themselves because I don't think they knew which one was catching and which one was blocking, if you recall.
Right.
And Dak, I don't think did he throw it out there? I don't think he threw it out there. Both of them seemed to block. Did you see that? I know I didn't see that wrong. So Zeke is out there he was with Schultz, and they both blocked. I don't even think he threw the ball out there. It was probably another sack, another incompletion, some crap. But it just showed more ineptitude.
And then, so that series, 1st and 10 at the 21, ends with a field goal. So now it's 19-9. And you're sitting there going, okay, if they just score a touchdown, you would at least have an onside kick.
There comes the tease.
And then let's see,
Here comes
right?
the tease. Yeah.
And they go down to 1st and 10 at the Kansas City 20. Now, there was only 1:07 left, and Dak tries to hit Malik Turner. I assumed it was Malik Turner on that slant.
Yeah, it was him.
And the safety was sitting right there.
Yeah. Well, he got tipped.
And did
They
get
got
tipped.
Yeah, they took all the
that was Jones. That's right.
They got tipped.
It got tipped.
Yeah, it wasn't like he just threw it in there. That got tipped.
And L'Jarius Sneed intercepted. That guy had a really good game.
He had a good game.
He was a pain in the Cowboys' backside.
I was worried about Matthews, and he was the one that was the man.
And so there was another one. So all these opportunities they had, they could not cash in.
Yeah.
And that's why you end up with 3 field goals.
There was a play. They went back. I just can't believe they did this. They missed a call, and they went back and enforced it. It's not even reviewable. Did you even get? You didn't see that, did you?
There was a hands to the face that didn't get called, and it ended up a holding penalty on the Cowboys on the offensive line.
Yep. They went back and called it.
Yeah.
They went back and called it. They missed it. And they went back. The play was over. They went to Troy and the guys went to the guy. He said New York didn't call that. That doesn't come from New York.
That was the eye in the sky.
You can't do that.
I know.
And he said, even the referee on site said, if New York doesn't bring it in, then it's not reviewable. And they went back and they made up for the call that they missed. Now, come on, man. What is this? I mean, to be allowed to do that. And McCarthy was, of course, going crazy over there.
Well, there was a couple that he was going crazy.
Well, the personal foul where the guy was pushed while the play was still going on.
Right.
We pushed, 59 pushed him, pushed the running back. Play was still going on, and they called the personal foul.
Or the face mask where they missed the first both guys should have been penalized for face masking, but the Cowboys got the penalty on the face mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. All you gotta do watch stuff on
referees,
Sunday.
man, and they are extremely inconsistent.
Right.
I mean,
they don't have their eyes in the right spot, and it keeps coming up, keeps coming up, keeps coming up, And so when you're not playing well, usually you say, well, okay, that shouldn't decide. But when you're not playing the well,
it just piles on top, dude.
Overcome.
The pile just gets bigger and bigger. It's tough.
You can't overcome your mistakes and or the penalties or a bad call.
I'd like to put a third. You had O-line, you had wide receivers, and I got to go with the OC. Okay? I mean, I'm giving him credit whenever he shows out. As my kids say, he comes out of his bag.
Right.
You know what I mean? He comes out of his bag. He got so much going on, and it's amazing how he distributes everybody and everything. No matter how tough it is from the beginning, my concern with Kellen Moore's play calling has always been this. We rarely run the ball 2 consecutive plays. There are times, and we're getting into that time of year. We need to show ourselves and even anyone else that we can run this ball. Yes, you're going to stop us once. I remember Tom Landry used to say, yeah, they're going to stop you. They're going to stop you, but you have to be ready for the one that breaks. Okay? You know they're going to stop you. And that's what I like about it. I keep bringing up Pittsburgh. I keep bringing up the Ravens. They're going to force their game plan on you. They're going to force their physicality on you. They're not going to let up with certain cute plays and all that. Now, those cute plays, they work, and I love them, and they're so amazing when they work.
Right.
But when you got to smash mouth somebody, we have not shown that we would like to consistently do that. I don't mean that when we get on the goal line, this time we're going to give Zeke the ball. Yeah, well, it's goal line. But when you're out in the field, you're on the 20-yard line, when you're on your own 10-yard line, you got to show that you're willing to put that ball in Zeke's hands or in Pollard's hands, and we're going to let Zach, we're going to let Biotis, we're going to let Tyron do what they do. We have not shown that this year, not against teams, and especially when we're down.
And here's another huge difference in the game, and you're talking about staying with the run. So they track at the end of the game, you get a list of how many plays you had for 20 yards or more. Mm-hmm. Or no, I take it back. They track your 10 longest plays. Mm-hmm. Cowboys had one play more than 20 yards. It was the 31-yard run by Pollard.
Yeah.
But that was it. Kansas City, on the other hand, on their top 10 plays, longest plays, 6 of them were 21 yards or more. And that was one of the things the Cowboy defense struggled with somewhat. Back to their problem, right?
Bend but don't break.
And giving up those big plays. And we'll talk about that Cowboy defense when we continue here on Mick Shots.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys? Jack Black. Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man's Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
Back to Mick Shots.
Registration for holiday youth camps is now open. Don't miss the Dallas Cowboys Football Academy and Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders Dance Academy camps on December 21st at the Star in Frisco and December 22nd at AT&T Stadium. Space is limited, so register today at dallascowboys.com/academy. Man, I threw that thing out. Woo.
Look at there, and he got the .coms all
got
right.
It all slashed and commed and dotted, baby.
Everson Walls, Mickey Spagnola, Bill Jones reminded us last Friday that he wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, I wasn't listening to him because I don't even remember.
He had a previous work commitment to take care of.
Sorry, William.
And let me read the rest of Andy Reid's quote that I read off the top. It's what the league strive for, parity in this league. I think they've done a great job with that. Every city has an opportunity to win football games, even Detroit when they tied, right? That's a great thing.
Even Detroit.
And we're no different. We've got to just keep our nose to it and bear down as we go. Take each game as it comes. We haven't proven anything yet. You can talk about it all after the season. Go find an island and go lay around and tell everyone about it. But right now, not so much.
Nope. And he's got a lot to deal with in the AFC West.
Right.
I mean, the Cowboys are the least of his problems right now. He's just glad to get that in the rearview mirror, and he's moving on. They got Chargers. You know, they have Raiders still they have to deal with. Seahawks, I think. So, damn, AFC West is tough.
So the Chiefs have now won 4 straight. They've won 4 of the last 5. And scoring in 4 of the last 5 games, they've scored no more than 20 points. And they're 4-1.
That's right.
4-1.
So that defense has stepped up, I believe, in that stretch. I think they're like the number 4 defense.
Last 6 games, they've given up, in 5 of them, they've given up no more than 17 points.
That's right.
So Tennessee is the outlier. I think they ended up 27.
Another team that lost yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
all right, so we were talking about next man up on the offense, but here's kind of my take on the defense. You don't have DeMarcus Lawrence yet. Randy Gregory has to miss at least another game. Although Lawrence, by the way, they brought Lawrence, Neville Gallimore, and Brent Urban to the game so they can do their rehab prior to the warm-ups.
That means you're getting close. That means you're getting close.
When I saw him, I said, oh, he must be getting close because...
You wouldn't bring him.
Right.
You wouldn't bring him.
But that last rehab was like, okay, let's get that rehab in since the other guys are there. But so your top 2 pass rushers are out, okay? And you'll sit there and go, okay, but that's fine because Micah Parsons could play defensive end. They needed him at linebacker, too.
He can't be everywhere.
I know.
He can't be everywhere.
And I mentioned his line, and it was another phenomenal performance by a guy that's not an NFL defensive end. So Parsons finishes with 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for losses, 3 quarterback hits, and a forced fumble. All right? But 4 tackles. What does he normally get? Seemingly of late, it's 9 to 12 tackles a game.
True.
They needed him at linebacker along with Van Der Esch because of the speed that Kansas City was playing with. They picked him underneath, him apart underneath with all that crossing stuff. And I'm thinking he could run some of that stuff down. And I'm thinking he has a better chance to run down Mahomes when he doesn't have a 320-pound defensive end in front of him.
2 of them at one point, several times. You could see 2 guys blocking.
And they ended up taking the rookie out and brought in another guy, and he blew past him too. And that's great, right? But in the overall game, you get limited when you're at defensive end. Now, you probably think, okay, he's crazy. He got 2 sacks. He just tied DeMarcus Ware's rookie record for most sacks in a single season since they started counting sacks during the 1982 season. So
that's when they started.
I think Harvey Martin probably had 9 his rookie year. Somebody else had 9 also. But that's when the sacks became an official NFL. So again, the injuries impact you in some way or fashion.
It limits you.
Because, hey, if he got 2 sacks out there, if DeMarcus Lawrence is healthy, he can get 2 sacks.
If Randy Gregory's there.
Randy Gregory could, right? Yeah. And now you got him in the middle doing all the other stuff.
What it does is, obviously, if you take away a resource, it's hard to replace it without diminishing your backup, without diminishing your strength, without diminishing your options. And that's what they did. We didn't have the variety. We needed more variety. We needed more players that could do what we needed to be done. I was kind of disappointed in my boy Keanu Neal. I think that was a game for him to step up. I don't think he played that well at all. I didn't see him make an impact, whether it was on the run or back at the pass.
I mean, he had tackles. He had 7, but again, it wasn't anything that lit up. Yeah.
There was not anything.
Like you said,
no tackles for losses and things of that nature. That's kind of what you were looking for consistently anyway.
And let me show this also. Other than Parsons, the top tacklers in the game for the Cowboys, Neal, Hooker, Curse, Parsons, Brown, Diggs, Donovan Wilson, and Jordan Lewis.
What is the common theme there? All DBs.
That's 10 guys. The only guy up front that had tackles more than 4, or at least 4 tackles, was Parsons. Carlos Watkins tied at 10 with 4.
Nice.
All right, but after that, the other guys on the defensive front didn't do anything. So that means, and they were giving the ball to Hilaire, by the way.
Yeah.
Right, and that was his first game.
That was
back.
it.
And while he didn't pile up big numbers, he kept the yardage moving, right?
The chains.
Yeah,
that's what they were doing.
It's not that he was getting first downs,
and they weren't giving up big plays as much as they just. You don't want a team like KC to control the clock as much as they did, especially when offensively, we're playing the way we were.
But you know what? The weird thing was, it looked like they had the ball forever. They had it for 30 minutes and 47 seconds. The Cowboys had it for 29 minutes and 13 seconds. So they had it 94 seconds more. That's it. But it seemed like they possessed the ball forever. And that's because Hilaire was averaging 5.3 yards a carry.
Par for the course.
Right?
Par for the course. That's what we have never been able to remedy on this defense yet. And now here's the thing. They can do all of that they want. If you can let them have those numbers, but as a defense, you create more turnovers, then of course that's going to offset their effectiveness. We didn't play the pass well as well as we should have. I wish we were closer in some of those key moments. They game plan my boy Diggs on a couple of plays to where I get it. That's the same thing they tried to do with me. They want you to jump up so they can catch you in the back. Either it's by a double move by the man that you're guarding, or they scheme it. They know you're in the zone. They make you bite on the man in the flat. Then they send someone to the flag or to the outside deep where you probably are supposed to be along with the safety. You see? Diggs is up here. The safety's already outflanked by the guy in the third receiver inside. All he does is run a flag route. Diggs has a choice to make. You either stay back or you come up. He chose to go up first.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. One of the things that they were doing is they were playing their corners at most of the time 5 to 7 yards off the line of scrimmage. You can't see that on TV. But when you're there, they're leaving all this space, right?
We saw it.
And there was one they lined up, and I just kind of said out loud to myself, I said, well, they're going to throw a slant to Hill. Well, sure enough, they threw a slant because everybody was backed off.
We could see it.
They were so worried.
My son fussed about it the entire game. Why are they lined up so deep? Because all they're going to do is just give them space. And what you don't want, and I've always said this, he might have gotten this from me, you don't want a free release.
Right.
You're giving these fast guys a free release, then the timing is there for Mahomes. He has nothing. You're not inhibiting them from doing anything. You're not stopping them from running slants. You're not stopping their timing. You want to throw the timing off. Every time we got up and jammed them, anytime you play two deep safeties and you jam the wide receivers, which is what most people have been doing and what keeps them effective, it makes Mahomes hold on to it a little bit longer.
Because the guy's got to break open.
The guy's got to break open. And when you're jacking him up at the line of scrimmage, then it's not really clear what the timing is. And that's what you want to do. I mean, we did it with the Giants all the time. We didn't play off, we played on. Because the pressure you put on those wide receivers, that puts pressure on the quarterback.
I don't know if it was they were so worried they were going to run past him if they didn't hold him up at the line of scrimmage.
Play the cover two like everybody else.
But when you give them that much space, I bet the yards after catch were enormous.
Play the cover two man like everybody else, Spags. That's what's been holding them down. That's why they don't score as much now. You got two deep safeties. Nothing wrong with that. I'd do like Super Bowl 25. I'd rather you beat me with the run than beat me with the pass.
Well, I just noticed, and even sometimes on third down, you were thinking, well, get up on the line of scrimmage. They only got to pick up 6 or 7 yards, right? Well, when you're backed off that far.
Parsons ain't going to take long. When you're jamming these guys.
And if he was in the middle at linebacker,
right.
Some of that stuff, they might have gotten discouraged.
The inside would have been covered.
Yeah.
At least been deterred.
Or at least somebody can run them down.
There you go.
But they didn't run down much of anything, and we just ran down. We ran down a time.
We just fussed our way all the way to the end of this thing.
All right. We will be back tomorrow. Bill Jones should be back with us.
That's right.
For Everson Walls, I'm Mickey Spagnola. Chris, thanks for getting us up and running. And we'll be back with Mick Shots tomorrow here on DallasCowboys.com.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!